Hi, I'm Brad Sweezy, president of M4 Lawyers, Marketing for Lawyers. Today, I want to talk to you about why your marketing for your law firm might not be working because you make these three mistakes. And this happens more often than not, so I think it's an important thing to take a look at. 3 ways your marketing fails. Got to wait for the bullets apparently to come out. 1, you don't test and allow enough time to test. That's an important component of it. And I can talk a little bit more about that. You don't measure your advertising ROI, return on investment, and you don't devote enough money to it, right? So those are the 3 things that you need to, take a look at. And I'm going to talk to you about all of this. Then I went to the next slide a little first, but you don't test and allow enough time to test. So very often what happens is, you think of an idea or your marketing arm thinks of an idea. You come up with it and you think, this is probably going to work. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the times you're trying to market your services, your legal services, to people who are not lawyers, and they don't think like lawyers, and they don't think about your particular practice areas like you do. So what happens, especially if you do your own type of stuff, is you think you know what they want, and you don't know if that's what they want or if that's how they're going to look for it. So you have to have testing. So you start, let's say you do a Google AdWords campaign. You start with a few different iterations of an ad and keywords and all that kind of stuff. And then you test the landing page, or the first baseline can always be, and it's very easy while you're setting up everything else, is to send them to your website. Because you think your website's the greatest thing in the world. Very often, most attorneys think their website's great, and it usually is great as a library or wealth of resources and thousands of words of text that nobody's going to read because they're too busy. So you test. So you go, I'm going to test my headlines, I'm going to test my keywords, I'm going to test my landing pages, and I'm going to see which one works. But a lot of times, if you don't have a test, if you don't have 2 different pages, multiple versions of ads, multiple descriptions, multiple versions of keywords, you don't really have any measure to go, this is succeeding or not. So you want to test. The second thing is you don't measure your return on investment for your marketing. That's very important. There's a lot of brand awareness advertising that happens. I've been a part of it, dealing with lawyers as well, where the lawyer has the need or the desire to make a statement. This is going to be a statement in the community. My competitors are going to see this. I want to be on the banners, at softball or, Little League baseball. I want to advertise on TV, all those kinds of things. A lot of those things are very hard to measure. Like if you say, all right, I'm going to buy the back page of an area magazine, an affluent magazine or something like that. You've got it, but most of the time you don't actually measure whether or not it's going to work. And there are ways to do it, but that's brand awareness advertising. It feels good. It boosts your ego. It does. That's why it's an effective thing for salespeople doing that to work, because it appeals to your ego, and you like that. Maybe you don't like it as much as other attorneys, but everybody likes seeing their face somewhere. Okay, so that's one thing. You got to measure your return on the investment. We want to know, when we're doing this, this is how many calls I got, how many forms they completed. Forms are not as good as calls. How many calls were answered, how many cases happened from that or are likely to happen. So you can start measuring which one is going to be the best ROI for you. And so the third part of that related is you don't devote enough money to it. What you do and how much money you spend marketing largely depends on how much money you're going to make on something. If you are selling a $100,000 car, let's say, you're going after the affluent market, chances are you're going to end up spending, if you're lucky, 5%, but you're really going to spend probably $10,000 to $15,000 to market that car. And if you're not willing to devote that money to it, You're never going to sell that car to that one particular person if you don't have the money marketing to it. It's not simply you're just going to sell something and everybody's going to know about it. It's not like you have a great legal practice and you just know that people will find you. You know, I just know it. But the reality is they're not necessarily going to find you. There are people going to find you through referrals, obviously, but I'm talking cold people, no relationship at all with you, no relationship at all with an attorney, but now they're presented with a situation, they've got to, take the next step. So I want to talk about an actual example with our own money, because what I'll do sometimes is I will start a separate campaign, a separate website, a separate landing page, and do my own setting up of a campaign that may mirror the one that the client has. And that happens a lot of times, like this one I'm doing to show the client that your website's the issue. That's the issue. And so either way, this is what I've done. So this is my own money. I don't use a lot of it. I don't need to use a lot of it. I'm just testing. That's what I'm doing. I want to test things and see how well they work. So that's a little bit about the situation, right? Want to test something out. Talked about what we did. Now, how we measured it. This is very easy. We could measure this by how much revenue that came into the pipeline. And it's a very short cycle, right? So this is actual, data. But I want to, take a look at something. These are our 4-week test results. So week 1, $200 gone. Did not make any money on it. Now, a lot of lawyers, multiply this. We'll spend that in the first month. All right. You could, and we went into it with the idea we're just going to do it for a month, right? Let's see. In the first week, not promising results, are they? Right. So you've lost all that money, but you keep at it. So the second week, we spend a little bit less, but we make money. So that week's a return on investment of 29.8%. Week 3, we spend the least amount of money, but we earn some, a sizable amount of revenue from that 710% rate of return. Now, some of these might have came into the pipeline at the end of week 2, right? Because it's a short cycle. It's about 7 days. Came in week 2, but we don't know. So we didn't spend that much that week, but it looks like we made a lot. Week 4, we spent a little bit more, made a little bit less, got an ROI of 14%. So the first month, 4 weeks, spent $516, earned $789, returned 163.48%. But if we stopped after week 1, we would have got nothing. And you can say for the attorney, if you're doing an AdWords campaign, 4 months is really a good amount of time to do this. And you realistically look, month 1, I'm going to lose money, right? Month 2, I'm going to spend money and hopefully make some, right? But I don't know your particular cycle from a time a client or potential client comes into your law firm and pipeline, how short that cycle is. If it's personal injury, it's going to be very short, more than likely. But if it's, estate planning, it might be 3 months, right? People hem-haw, got to confront death and all those kind of things. So your timeline, but the bottom line is if you stop too early, you never find out what's working and what's not. And as you go along, you get better and better at what you're doing. And then you realize this website looks great. It stinks in terms of converting into clients. It's not good. And that's the measure of success. If you want more clients, you have to do that which gets you more clients at the least amount of money. So that's why it's important to test. Do a free consultation with you. So if you want, we do methodical marketing plan, results-based marketing implementation, saves you money, maximizes opportunity for new and continued, clients or business. So you can email me at brad@m4lawyers.com, call me, or obviously go to that Calendly thing as well. All right. So if you have any questions, just email me or give me a call. Thanks. Have a good day.